All right, ready for another deep dive?
Yeah, bring it on.
Okay, so today we're going to try and unravel the life of Viggo Rivad,
Okay.
a Danish photographer.
Mhm.
His work, I mean, it's just incredible.
Yeah.
And he was a Copenhagen taxi driver for decades.
Wow, interesting combination.
Right. And we've got a collection of, biographical pieces, articles about his photography.
Mhm.
And one of the things that just struck me was he actually funded his photography trips with his taxi earnings.
Wow.
Talk about dedication.
That's serious commitment right there.
Right. Like, how many of us can say we would do that?
Yeah, putting your money where your mouth is, literally.
Exactly.
That's really striking, isn't it? This sort of contrast between this kind of everyday job and then this artistic passion.
Yeah.
It's almost like a double life,
Yeah.
connecting with people from all walks of life in his taxi and then, capturing these kind of beautifully composed black and white photographs.
That's true. It's
Yep.
like the guy driving you home from the theater.
R-
Could be the artist whose work is hanging, in a gallery somewhere.
Exactly.
But let's rewind a little bit.
Okay.
Who was Viggo Rivad and what kind of photography, was he known for?
So Viggo Rivad, born in 1922, passed away in 2016.
Okay.
And he dedicated his life to what's often called social realism,
Mm.
a style of photography that really focuses on portraying everyday people and social issues,
Yeah.
often with kind of a raw honesty.
Mm.
And while his work got a lot of critical acclaim, he never pursued photography as a full-time career.
So he's a taxi driver who's winning awards for his photography.
Yeah,
That's already fascinating.
right.
But, the sources mentioned he held a lot of different jobs before becoming a taxi driver.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
He had quite a diverse work history. Everything from being a piccolo player,
Right.
yeah, to working in industrial settings. And you can definitely see how those experiences, especially, growing up in modest circumstances, likely influenced his vision, his artistic vision.
Yeah.
He wasn't interested in photographing celebrities or landscapes.
Right.
His focus was really on the human condition, the
Mhm.
everyday lives of people who are often overlooked.
It's like he saw poetry in the mundane.
Yeah.
And the sources mentioned that he won his first photography contest in 1948
Mm-hmm.
with a picture of a woman in a Copenhagen park.
Yeah.
Was that a turning point for him, do you think? Did he realize, hey, maybe I've got something special?
It's hard to say for certain,
Yeah.
but it definitely marked the beginning of this lifelong exploration of, human experience through the lens.
There's a little lens, yeah.
And while, black and white photography was pretty much the norm back then, Rivad really seemed to embrace it as a conscious aesthetic choice.
Yeah.
And it added this really kind of timeless quality to his images.
It makes you wonder, too, how those choices, even down to like the film stock he used,
Yeah.
shaped the final product.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But speaking of choices, let's talk about Rivad's commitment to black and white.
Okay.
Was he ever tempted by color? Or was there a specific reason he stuck with black and white photography?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the sources don't give us any direct insights into his reasoning.
Okay.
But, considering the time period and the aesthetic trends,
Mm-hmm.
it's plausible that he saw black and white as a way to strip away distractions and to focus on that kind of raw essence of his subjects.
I mean, it's almost like black and white lets you see the world in a different light.
Right.
Right.
It's reducing it to its core element.
Exactly.
Landscape.
Shadow, form.
But his work wasn't just confined to the streets of Copenhagen.
Right.
He traveled extensively,
Me too.
capturing images, from Mexico to China.
What drew him to these far-off places?
It seems like his travels were driven by this deep curiosity about different cultures and this desire to document the lives of people from all walks of life.
Yeah.
There's even this anecdote about how he won the trust of locals in China.
Oh, yeah.
Through humor and body language,
Wow.
even though they didn't share a common language.
That's remarkable.
Right.
It's one thing to photograph someone, but to really connect with them,
Yeah.
to earn their trust, that's a whole other level of artistry.
Yeah. It's a form of almost like a diplomacy, right? It's about building bridges.
Exactly.
But speaking of connection, one of his most powerful projects was a series called Farewell.
Yeah, farewell.
And it documented a dying man's final visit with his wife at the hospital.
Oh, wow.
And what makes Farewell even more poignant is that none of them knew it was their final goodbye.
Yeah.
So it adds this layer of depth and emotion to the images that's it's almost unbearable,
Yeah.
but also incredibly beautiful.
It's a reminder of the fragility of life
Mm-hmm.
and how a single moment
Yeah.
captured through the lens can become this, powerful memory.
Yes.
This lasting testament to love and loss.
Absolutely, and that's what's so compelling about Rivad's work, right? He captured these seemingly ordinary moments,
Yeah.
and through his artistry, revealed the profound truths about the human experience they held.
Mhm.
But his focus wasn't solely on these individual stories.
Right.
He also dedicated time to documenting the lives of marginalized people at
Yeah.
Kofod School, a social institution in Copenhagen.
This is where his dedication to social realism really shines through, when you say.
Oh, absolutely.
He wasn't afraid to shine a light on those who are often pushed to the margins of society.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't about glamorous subjects. It was about portraying, the human condition in all its complexity.
Precisely, and he didn't shy away from capturing the dignity of labor either.
Yeah.
You know, his series on workers at the B&W Tegelholmen shipyard is a testament to that. You know,
Yeah.
he saw beauty and worth in every corner of life, even amidst the grime and sweat of industrial work.
It's like he had this innate ability to see beyond the surface, to find the humanity in every situation.
Yeah.
And speaking of seeing beyond the surface, there's that striking anecdote about the shoe black in Egypt,
Oh, yeah.
right? The man with severe facial disfigurement.
Yes, it's a powerful example of Rivad's ethical approach to photography.
Mm.
You know, he had the opportunity to take a photograph that would have been visually striking, perhaps even shocking,
Yeah.
but he chose not to
Wow.
because he felt it would be exploitative.
That decision, that speaks volumes
It does.
about his character.
Hmm.
It wasn't about, sensationalizing or capturing a freak show image.
Yeah.
It was about respect,
It was about respect.
about recognizing the inherent dignity of every individual,
Hmm.
regardless of their appearance.
And that respect shines through in all of his work.
Yeah.
You know, he wasn't just taking pictures, he was capturing souls.
He clearly had a deep respect for his craft and the people he photographed.
Mhm.
But it's also fascinating that, even if he got older, his passion for photography never wavered.
Yeah.
He kept taking pictures into his late 80s,
It's incredible.
even exploring digital photography.
Right.
And what's remarkable is that, he continued to, quote unquote, see pictures,
Mhm.
even after his eyesight began to fail.
He did. He once said, "I can sit at my windowsill or on a bus, and I still see the pictures I would take if I had had a camera with me."
That's incredible.
Isn't it?
It's almost like photography became this way of seeing the world,
Yeah.
a lens through which he interpreted everything, even without a camera in hand.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that idea of photography as a way of seeing not just a technical skill,
Right.
but a way of being in the world.
But he didn't, hoard his vision.
Right.
He actually donated his entire collection of negatives,
He did.
over 40,000 original photos,
I know.
to the Royal Danish Library and the Museum of Photographic Art.
It's an incredible act of generosity.
It really is.
You know, giving away over 40,000 negatives, that's a lifetime of work.
Yeah, it really speaks volumes about his belief in the power of photography to connect us to the human experience.
Connect us, yeah.
It wasn't about, personal gain or recognition.
Right.
It was about sharing his vision with the world.
It's a legacy, isn't it? It's saying this is for everyone.
Exactly.
It's like a gift.
A gift to humanity.
Yeah. But it also kind of raises the question, did he ever express any doubts about, relinquishing ownership of his life's work?
Yeah, that's a great point. I'd be curious to know that too. But, sadly, the sources don't really delve into his personal feelings on the matter.
Yeah, that's fair.
But focusing on the legacy that he left behind, his work really does explore such a wide range of human emotions, from love and loss to the simple dignity of a hard day's work.
Yeah,
It's almost like he was creating this visual tapestry
I like that.
of human
With
existence.
visual tapestry.
Yeah.
And the fact that he did it all while maintaining this, ordinary life as a taxi driver
Yeah.
really challenges our preconceived notions of what it means to be an artist.
Right.
It wasn't about fame or recognition for him. It
Mm.
was about this pure, unadulterated passion for documenting the world around him.
It's a fantastic reminder that you don't need a fancy studio or expensive equipment
Right.
to create art that truly moves people.
Yeah.
Sometimes all you need is a keen eye, an open heart, and the willingness to look for those moments of beauty
Yeah.
that often go unnoticed.
And let's not forget his sense of humor.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of sources highlight his playful and sometimes mischievous personality. He seemed to find humor in the most unexpected places,
Yeah.
which probably played a huge role in his ability to connect with people from all walks of life.
Yeah.
After all, laughter is a universal language.
Speaking of connecting with people,
Mm.
one of the most impactful things I read was how deeply Rivad was influenced by Edward Steichen's Family of Man exhibition.
Oh, yeah.
It featured, hundreds of black and white photographs from around the world exploring universal themes like love, birth, and death.
Powerful stuff.
It sounds like that exhibition
Right.
really lit a fire in him.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
You can see echoes of the Family of Man
Right.
in Rivad's own exploration of these universal human experiences.
Mm-hmm.
But he wasn't simply, imitating what he saw. He was drawing inspiration from the masters,
Mm-hmm.
but forging his own unique path.
Yeah.
Take his admiration for Henri Cartier-Bresson, for instance.
Another legend of street photography.
Exactly.
But even though he admired Cartier-Bresson's work, Rivad's style remained distinct, right? He wasn't afraid to experiment, to push the boundaries of the genre, to capture the world as he saw it.
Yeah.
It speaks to his confidence as an artist.
It certainly does, and this brings us to one of his most intriguing projects, a book simply titled Love. In it, he explores the multifaceted nature of love across cultures.
Wow.
Talk about an ambitious undertaking.
It's incredible, isn't it? That even though, his photography focused on specific people and moments in time.
He was always searching for those universal threads that connect us all.
That connect us all, yeah.
And it's clear that his passion for capturing those connections transcended physical limitations.
Right.
Even when his eyesight began to fade, he still approached the world with that photographer's eye.
He did.
He didn't need a camera to see those pictures.
It raises this interesting question, right?
Yeah.
What does it truly mean to see?
Yeah.
Rivad's experience suggests that it's not just about physical sight. It's about this way of observing,
Yeah.
of noticing the details that most people overlook, of finding beauty and meaning in those fleeting moments that make up a life.
I think we all have a bit of that photographer's eye within us. It's just a matter of nurturing it.
Yeah.
Of approaching the world with a sense of curiosity and openness.
Curiosity and openness, yeah.
Maybe that's part of Rivad's legacy too, inspiring us to look closer, to appreciate the simple moments that often go unnoticed.
Perhaps. And to remember that everyone has a story worth telling.
That's right.
Rivad's photos weren't just about documenting events or people. They were about capturing those intangible aspects of the human experience, the emotions, the connections, those fleeting moments that make us who we are.
So what does all of this, mean for us? The viewers of his photographs, the listeners on this deep dive into his life.
Yeah.
What can we take away from Rivad's story?
It's a great question. I think his work invites us to reflect on how we see the world, how we connect with others, and ultimately how we find meaning in our own lives.
Yeah.
His photographs aren't just images. They're invitations to empathize, to see the world through a different lens, to appreciate the beauty in the unexpected.
It makes you wonder how many other hidden artists are out there.
Right.
pursuing their passions quietly, making their art without, seeking fame or recognition.
Yeah.
Just like Rivad driving his taxi,
Yeah.
capturing souls.
That's a fascinating thought, isn't it? It's a good reminder that creativity can blossom anywhere, in any form. It's not about awards or recognition. It's about that inner drive to express oneself, to connect with the world through whatever medium speaks to you.
And Ravad's story shows us that you don't have to choose between, your passion and putting food on the table.
Right.
He found a way to make both work.
Right.
Even if it meant sacrifices along the way.
Yeah.
It speaks to his dedication and resourcefulness.
Yeah.
Absolutely. He didn't let societal expectations or financial constraints dictate his path.
Yeah.
He found a way to make it work on his own terms.
Yeah.
And that's incredibly inspiring.
His story makes me want to, grab a camera and just start capturing, the world around me.
Yeah.
To find those moments of beauty, those human connections that make life so rich.
Yeah, it's a wonderful impulse, right? And who knows, you might even discover a hidden talent or a passion you never even knew you had.
It's true.
Rivad's story is a powerful reminder that it's never too late to explore that creative side.
Definitely got me thinking, maybe we should all be paying closer attention to the world around us.
Yeah.
Looking for those Rivad moments.
I love that.
Those glimpses of beauty and humanity that we often miss, in the rush of daily life.
Rivad moments, little reminders to slow down, observe, and appreciate the simple things that make up a life.
Well, we've come to the end of our deep dive into the life and work of Viggo Rivad. It's been quite a journey.
It has.
From the bustling streets of Copenhagen to the far corners of the world. His photography has given us a glimpse into the heart of the human experience.
It truly has. And while his photos capture these specific moments in time, they also speak to these universal themes that we all grapple with, right? Love, loss, connection, the dignity of labor, the resilience of the human spirit.
Yeah.
It's as if he's given us this window into our shared humanity, reminding us that despite our differences, we're all connected by these fundamental experiences.
We can't recommend enough that you check out some of his work online.
Oh yeah, please do.
You won't be disappointed.
No.
His photographs offer such a unique and profound perspective on the world.
And as you go about your day, perhaps you'll find yourself looking at the world with a bit more curiosity, a bit more appreciation for those fleeting moments of beauty and connection that often go unnoticed.
Maybe next time you hail a cab, you'll wonder if the driver behind the wheel is secretly pursuing a passion, just like Viggo Rivad.
Perhaps they are, and maybe, just maybe, their story will inspire you to embrace your own.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive.
Yes, thank you.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning,
Keep seeing.
and keep those Rivad moments in mind.